What's good? I'm Trey, your favorite cousin on your mama's side. And today I got a good one. We're talking about what happens when your CEO discovers AI. Let's see.
So I just got laid off from my writing job, and I wanted to make this video to just warn everybody about what's coming and what they can expect to see, even if you don't work a similar job to me. So I was a writer for a local news site, and I was getting paid pretty decently well. I wasn't like rich, but it definitely like paid the bills. And I just got out of a meeting where I was told that I would no longer be needed, that my services would no longer be needed. Um, and they didn't give me the exact reasoning. They were really vague about it at first, but I asked some of my old coworkers about what happened, and they said it's because they started implementing new AI services. And at first, I was like, that's really weird because I feel like most people would be able to tell it's AI, like they wouldn't want to read it. But after looking through some of the stuff they've already generated, I realized that like damn, they're kind of right. Like it's a lot cheaper and faster to have AI generate something for you than to pay me to go write stuff for you.
Yeah, he's absolutely right. Um, and everybody who is not on the AI side, right? They haven't looked at AI like that. They dismissed it, all this stuff. They have those same thoughts. Like he's not thinking anything that a whole lot of people haven't already thought. I'm good, like who wants to read something created by AI when you need the flesh, human flesh? Like they can't think like a, but you don't realize there are people making this AI sound the way it sounds, look the way it looks. So I mean, there is a human element in there. Like it's not like a lot of this AI stuff is just coming out of AI. Like a human is actually behind it. So all this talk about, hey, there's a human element that needs to be there. Stop it. Stop. Because it already is. There's somebody who's training it. Let's see what he's talking about.
And it made me realize like I'm kind of lucky actually. I got to experience this like first, which it sounds weird to be like, oh, that's lucky. But in my head is at least now I have time to prepare because I'm like one of the first people to have this happen to them. Um, and I feel like it's kind of rare to hear people talk about it. And the reason I feel like I should make this video is because I saw someone else talk about it, about losing their graphic design job. Um, and I was just thinking,
Man. So I mean, I'm just I want to keep up with this stuff, right? When as people continue to talk about losing their jobs to AI, because obviously it's gonna start in the easiest spaces first, so to like more or less, right? So obviously writing the stuff you've already been seeing, photographs. You've seen some of these photos and pictures and like photorealistic like art that people are creating. A lot of this stuff looks super real, right? And so you look at that and you're like, man, how can I compete? You got to come at it from a different angle, from a different side of things if you want to compete against AI in those spaces. And that's not what this video is about, so I'm not going to get into it. But yeah, I mean, with what he's saying right now, obviously, writers, if you're a writer, uh, you're probably cooked unless you know what you're doing, and you can get ahead in front of the eight
when I
ball.
first saw that, I was like, that's not going to happen to me. Like, I'll make sure I'm not being made redundant. So I poured in more hours. I tried upskilling. I even took courses on how to write more persuasive. And I thought for a while I was doing pretty good. And It honestly happened in a similar way to the guy who got his graphic design job. Like I guess his position was terminated. Um, it started with me getting like less assignments slowly. So I used to have like a lot to do in a week. I would have different articles to either start writing or have to edit someone else's article, and I was always on my feet. And then for the past like 2 weeks, it started slowing down a lot. There was days when I almost got nothing, and that's when I started getting like red flags. Like there was some alarms raising in my head because I was like, this is weird because they usually have me always working. And just today, I hopped onto a meeting with my manager, and I didn't think much about it because I meet with my manager every week. And I was just thought it was going to be like every weekly meeting, and I was going to ask them like, hey, like what's up? You guys don't have me doing that much work. Like, is there anything else you need me to do? And that's when they told me like, hey, you're not gonna be able to work here anymore. Um, and I asked why, and they gave a really vague answer. They said that they just were not needing. They kept repeating like, we're not in need of your services anymore. We're not in need of your position anymore. So it was not really like, I mean, I wasn't fired, I was laid off. So it was like a position termination. Um, but one thing that pisses me off is they couldn't tell me straight up, you know? I think it would have been a lot more respectful to just tell me, hey, the reason your position is getting terminated isn't because you lack skills, it's because we're moving to AI. And unfortunately, it is tough to say, but humans can't compete with AI. I mean, when you have something that works faster, cheaper, and more efficiently, it's like a no brainer. Of course, businesses would want to go with.
Exactly. And I wasn't going to even talk on it, but he mentioned it earlier, so I'm just going to go ahead and something that I've been thinking about, right? Like, how can people get ahead of AI when they're in these type of roles and these positions where you're like super susceptible to getting your butt laid off or cut? Because, like he mentioned, AI is faster, it's way more efficient, it costs less, it works 24/7. Like, I can set it up to where it works 24/7 and it ain't gonna complain. It ain't gonna take no nights, no days off, no nights off. Uh, the baby is not sick. You don't need no vacation. Like, how can you compete with that? And one thing I was going to say earlier is when he saw this stuff like coming down to it, I think he mentioned. I watched so many of these videos, somebody's mentioned that they saw it coming. I think he said it earlier. I don't know, but either way, like when you see these things coming, which everybody has over these last multiple years, where AI has continued to get better and better and better, like you have to sit down and reevaluate. Now he mentioned upskilling. Awesome. I'm a huge proponent of upskilling. I'm a huge proponent of, making sure you are still an A player at the top of your game in whatever space you're in. Where he messed up is he didn't upskill in the right area. And so ultimately he might as well not even, like, it's like he didn't upskill because he didn't go in the right area. What he could have done, what he probably still can do, is become the top in the space of AI writing. Like, he's trying to compete with AI when he needs to be the person that other people are competing against, his AI, right? So he could have created a company, a writing company that is AI writing for businesses like the one that he works with, and the company that he works with could have been his first not employee, his first customer. That company could have been his first customer. Okay. Now, what he could have done is used his credentials and his writing skills and the stuff that he's been doing all these years. He could have used that as the leverage as to why his version of AI is better than them just putting in something in the chat GPT or Claude or Perplexity or DeepSeek, whatever it is they want to use. My version of it is better because I've been writing for years. I've wrote on these publications, and like he's now selling his version of what they just replaced him as. That's how you get ahead of the game. And now you put yourself in the driver's seat, as in, yo, now you're paying my company every month or every week, however you want to set that up. And he can have multiple businesses he's doing this for. And so now, no, he didn't get replaced by AI. He made AI work for him. He figured out a way how to make AI work for him. And I'm telling y'all, there's companies, and I mean there's people who are doing this, and they're making goo gobs of money every month because they decided not to let AI vic them, right? Like they didn't let AI make them a victim. They say, how can I use my skills that I already have and literally overcome what's inevitable in this space? And it's going to continue to go through space after space after space and take it over. And the people who understand how to use it the best are going to be the ones who thrive and are saved, right? Because I can tell you this: I'm not even a like a writer, but because I understand AI a little bit and I understand how it works, prompting all this stuff, a company that just says, "Hey, write me an article about blank," they're going to get an article, but it's not going to be as good as somebody who knows what's supposed to be in that article and how to relay that message to AI to get the best article out that sounds human. Right now, he was like, "Yo, I see why they did it." I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't replace him with a company who is doing this. Like, it's not somebody on the team that's just typing in AI. There's a company that came in and was like, "Yo, we can do this for you at a cheaper rate every day. You can have 30 articles going out a month instead of 4." And they ran it down to him. But like, yo, there's no reason why he couldn't have been this, and that company could have been his first customer. But lesson learned. Stuff like this, it is gonna continue to happen. It happened to him. He's not the last. Obviously, I got another one for y'all that I definitely want to show you. And yeah, it's just one of those things, man. It's sad to see for sure, but we know this stuff is coming. So what we have to do is upskill, but in the right spaces, right? Learn how to do whatever it is you do. Learn the AI side of that, so that you know what's coming and you can be the authority to be able to speak on that in your company that you work for, as far regarding AI and how to best use it for the company and save them money, um, or help them make more money. Those are the two spaces that you want to be on, so that you can always continue to have somewhere to go to. How can I make you more money or save you more money? You can't lose there. I'm sorry. All right, so let's get to the next one. Again, he also lost his job to AI, and we want to see how can we not do the same thing, or what can we learn from this? That's what this is about. Let's get into it.
Is that I do freelance writing. There's this one company that I've worked with for a few years now, and basically I would write blog articles for them. And how else can I say it? Recently, I lost this job to AI. I didn't actually get fired. It's not like they came to me and said, "Yo, we're replacing you with AI. Just put the fries in the bag, little bro." Because you don't really get fired from a freelance gig. It's more so a matter of whether or not they need you and whether or not they'll keep assigning you tasks. And I haven't been assigned anything recently. In the past few months, they've been pretty quiet, which is obviously unusual because I would usually get around 3 to 4 articles a month to write. It wasn't the main source of my income, but it was a decent chunk of it, and just a nice little side hustle I had going. In fact, I'd been working with them since back in college just to make some money on the side. But anyways, it was like I haven't heard from them for a while. They haven't been giving me new articles to write, so I was curious. One day I decided to go look on their website, check out their blog section, just to see what's going on. Like, did they just stop publishing blog articles because they're focusing on other aspects of the business? Maybe they're hiring new people to write it. Maybe I just didn't do a good enough job. Maybe they just slowed down a bit since we're reaching the end of the year and the holiday season and all of that. But when I actually clicked on the blog page for their site, I was kind of shocked to see what I saw. Just for more context though, I did know that they worked with other freelance writers, but most of the articles on their site were written by me. I'd say like 60 to 70% of them at least. Like I said, it would be around 3 to 4 per month from me, 1 or 2 maybe from a different writer, and that would come out to about 1 new blog article per week published on their site at best, typically even a little less because it takes some extra time to actually get it published. And again, this is from the combined effort of me and these other writers. But this time when I checked their blog section of the website, I saw that they had like 4 full-length blog articles all published within 1 week, and obviously none of them were from me. So it looked like they're just pumping out articles en masse, and they were pretty good quality too. So it's like, okay, I see what you're doing. They literally went from like a few blog posts a month, maybe once a week at best, to like I think 4 in a single week. And that's a pretty big improvement.
Same kind of theme as the last guy, right? Like literally, he had him on autopilot with the, 1 a week. Hey, let's kind of, hey, this is gonna keep your site okay. 1 a week. The price, we willing to pay that, cool. And then you get replaced by something that, we did 4 of them in a few days, and now we're gonna do 4 in a few days every week. So you went from 4 in a month to 4, 8, 12, 16 in a month. If they only stand with 4, and guess what? The price went down. If I needed to get 16 from you, the individual, not only is it going to take you a little, probably a longer time, but it's going to charge you're going to charge me 4 times the money, maybe 3 if you give me a discount for the amount. How can you compete with, not only am I getting more, multiples times more, but the price went down like crazy. It's pretty tough.
Improvement. And obviously this was coming from AI. The reason why I know that, even though they didn't specifically say like, oh, we're doing this, is because I was actually warned about it beforehand. I know that this company has been experimenting with AI tools for a while now, and what happened was that earlier in the year, they actually told me about it as like a reason to lower my pay. They actually asked me to switch over to creating AI generated articles for a much lower rate. They were saying like, hey, a lot of companies are using AI now. We were thinking about doing the same, but we still want to keep you around, have you as part of the team. But instead, we can just have you be the one generating these AI blog posts with a little bit of human edits here and there, and we'll still pay you, but at a lower rate. And obviously I didn't want to do that. I still wanted to make my money. So
You blew it. You got greedy. I I mean, it's literally the same theme as the other guy. How in the world does the company come to you and tell you, yo, you ever thought, what do you know about this AI stuff, the AI writing? I think you should start doing that, helping us with that. They're telling you what they want. Like, we're so busy trying to give companies what we think they need and what we like. No, the company is telling you what they want. You need to try and figure out, how can I go and get the skill that they're looking for. They asked me about AI writing, and if I want to do that, well, first of all, I need to look at the landscape, right? Look around. They said everybody they know is switching over to this kind of stuff. Obviously, they're next, so they want to keep me on. So they're giving me the chance to, hey, take a lower amount, use AI. We want you to use it with us, lower amount, and we good. You got to take that information and use it. Like, yo, okay, let's run that play. I need to learn this AI thing anyway. Let's figure out, come up with an amount, and I'm going to do my AI thing. And then what are we going to do? We're going to create the business around what we were just doing. He said he's a freelancer anyway. So y'all, if y'all remember the last guy that I said, all he had to do was create the business around the AI. Like, yo, we are an AI writing company specializing in whatever business space they're in. And now you set yourself apart from just regular Chat GPT, regular Claude, because no, we're using my years of experience and the stuff that's in my brain to make these great blogs and articles, but we've added AI component to it so that we can help you get out more content. Like, this is all he had to do. And they gave him the blueprint. They like, yo, do this so that we can continue to pay you. And you said no because you're greedy. Y'all know what the saying is. Pigs get fed, hogs get slaughtered. And yeah, I mean, that's exactly what we saw there. It's sad though. It's sad.
So I sort of negotiated. At the time, I guess they still needed me, so we just kept the same rate for my original articles, and that's how it was going until recently. But it always was in the back of my mind that they could replace me with AI at any time if they really wanted to. That's just the nature of the business, and it's just hard to compete with AI nowadays. And it's not even like I wasn't using any AI to begin with either. Like, even with my original articles that I'd write, I'd basically do the rough draft on my own, but I still would use like ChatGPT and ask them, hey, can you help me polish it up and fix any typos, replace any phrasing that you might think is awkward, or that kind of stuff. So I was in part using AI as well because it saved me some time and made the writing a lot better. If you don't know already, ChatGPT, and especially like the paid version of it, it's extremely powerful. It can do a lot of stuff, and I've experimented with it. The company I worked with, they've experimented with it, and it can generate literally entire 1,000-word blog articles within seconds, all for free basically. So it's like, how can I compete with that? Honestly, I don't blame them for using AI instead of having to pay me a decent amount of money. Like, if I were running a company, I'd probably also do the same if I wanted to maximize my profits. It sucks, but that's just the way it is. Like, in the past, there would be this whole workflow for getting an article published. I would get an article briefing assigned to me. I would usually finish up a draft, splitting up the work over the course of a few days, maybe like 5 to 6 hours total. Then I would send my draft back for revisions. They would send it back to me saying like, hey, there's some parts that we want you to change. I would make some final edits, and all of that would happen before the article could get published. So it would be about a week-long process back and forth, and they paid me a decent amount. But now with AI, they can, again, generate an article, let's just say 80 to 90% of the quality of that. But they can do it within seconds, minutes at most, and don't have to pay ChatGPT, aside from whatever subscription cost it might be. And it's not even just ChatGPT, by the way. That's just what I use, what most people use. But there's so many different AIs now, some of them in specialized areas. Like, for example, the platform that I would use to write my articles was this thing called Phrase. I don't know, maybe if you're also in the freelance writing space, you might be familiar with it. But it's essentially like a platform where as you write, it helps you keep track of SEO, keywords, and other important things. But earlier this year, I believe, they came out with their own generative AI, which can also just write an entire article within the click of a button. But they're also specialized in incorporating SEO keywords and stuff like that. So yeah, I've said it a lot of times before, but just from the market standpoint, how can I compete with that as a human being who needs much more money and much more time for that?
Yeah, you don't compete. It sounds like that company Phrase, they literally did what you needed to do. That's all you needed to do. And you can do it again under your own brand, because the one thing that you also have is the leverage of you having done it for the company or for companies already. And yeah, maybe you can partner with Phrase, white label their business, and use um, your skills that you've had and you've garnered over all these years. Use that and sell your services through AI writing, but you're using Phrase to come up with these articles, and then you can sell packs of articles at a time. But all I'm saying, guys, is with the rise in AI, and we know it's going to hit a lot of different sectors, a lot of different spaces. We have to come up with ways to um, compete, not with the AI, compete with the job market, compete with other people's businesses to get the business. That's what we're competing with. You don't want to compete against AI. You're going to lose, obviously. Like, he just went through a whole week breakdown of how long it takes for them to actually get one article out when you can get it done in minutes using AI. And then, I mean, who knows how many I could actually do in a week. So you're not competing there. You got to figure out a way how to use it to your advantage. And that's all I was really trying to get out with this video here, man, is AI is coming, right? And so you have to be prepared. Figure out a way how to use AI in your space. Figure out a way how to learn what is the best AIs in your space and learn how to use it and be proficient at it so that when it comes up in your one-on-ones, when it comes up in your, you know, group team meetings, you're the authority for that space and you can be saved. They need you. Um, eh, that's all I can say. That's all I can say. Hopefully, y'all got some out of this, man. Go ahead, like and subscribe if you haven't already. And I will catch y'all in the next one.